everyone, today we will learn about the economic depression or the Great Economic Depression of 1929. In Hindi we call it Mandi. Depression of 1929 or slump of 1929 or economic downturn of 1929. We get different names. Let's try to define what is depression. Severe and prolonged recession or largest recession ever experienced by industrialized Western world. Here you encountered one more word, recession. Recession is a situation of declining economic activity, is characterized by falling output, production and employment levels. If recession occurs 2 or more quarters or 1 or more economies, it is called depression. During depression, both GDP and GNP show negative growth. It began in 1929, what? Economic depression, and lasted almost till 1939 when Second World War started. During the decade, what's that decade, 29 to 39, economy declined worldwide because you see reasons here. Decline in demand led to fall in prices. Decline in demand led to fall in prices as industries getting less price for their product. They produced little or limited quantity and some industries get closed down. As goods were limited, they became expensive goods. Expensive goods reduced the purchasing power of the people. Less purchasing led to further fall or further decline in demand. This led to massive unemployment, or you can say less production, less workers, less number of jobs. Okay, because of this economic depression, real income of ordinary people and governments declined. Let me give an example here to make you understand. Suppose last year your income was 1,000 rupees and you were able to purchase 10 bags. Simply you can name X 10 bags, okay, whatever it may be. This year your income is suppose 1,200. With that income, if you are able to purchase 10 bags, your real income has not increased. With the 1,200 you are able to purchase 8 bags only, then your real income decreased, even though it appears more. Pardon me. Okay, we got real income of the people and the governments declined. Initially, stock market collapsed in the US, or stock markets crashed in the US, and very slowly it affected almost every country except USSR. Stock markets crashed. You pay your attention, I beg your attention here. Stock markets crashed. Banks which lent to them collapsed, and who deposited in banks, their deposits melted, ruined, gone. Let's discuss unemployment. We said massive unemployment. In USA it was 25%, and the rest of the nations it was 33%. Factories, trade declined, and cities became centers of decline. Factories declined or closed down, trade declined, we said. Okay, as you know that industries and industrial sector and service sector were offering employment opportunities to the people, but this depression hit them terribly. So we can say that cities declined. We discussed two sectors. What about agriculture? 60% price decline recorded in agriculture. Farmers stopped cultivation. It led to pauperization or poverty, and it resulted in homelessness and desolation. What do we call that? It led to desolation. Desolation, you are getting me here. Okay, I gave meaning of this desolation too. Why this agriculture declined? In agriculture, when modern technology was introduced in 1920s, okay, production increased immensely and it led to price decline. Economic depression made agriculture from bad to worse. Okay, now here you see that this was the terrible situation. What economists and politicians said about decline and prevention of depression further. Marxist economists who are ideological enemies of capitalists, what they argued that capitalism is responsible for this depression. It could be prevented by establishing socialism. In other words, they are saying that end capitalism and bring socialism, or end capitalism and establish socialism. And frequently they speak about equality of wealth. They give some figures. What 0.1% people of America held 25% of wealth of America in 1929. On the other hand, you see two economists we have been discussing, socialist and capitalist, or we can say Marxist and capitalist. J.M. Keynes, great economist from Great Britain, said, state or government is responsible to keep economy going. If economy has to go, who has to play a role there? Government has to play, state has to play. What government should do? Government should invest and generate employment, which will help people to earn money and demand goods in the market. Demand for the goods will help and will revive or will give new life to economy. We have been discussing about great economic depression, and let's try to know what steps have been taken by the American government after time Hoover was replaced by Franklin D. Roosevelt. So what steps he had taken, let's try to know. He announced Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who became the president. New Deal. What was that New Deal? It was a series of programs, public work projects, formulated reforms and regulation enacted by the Roosevelt between 1933 and 39. Okay, 33 to 39. New Deal made promise to whom? You see that those who suffered. Relief to whom? Victims of depression. Reform. What had to be reformed? Financial institutions. And recovery by undertaking large public work which ensure recovery. This increased what? New Deal increased factory production. What we said just a moment ago, undertaking large public works, we said, no? Okay, impact of that, you can see that factory production increased, demand for farm produce. Here they created artificial scarcity. Right, let's continue. Roosevelt introduced a social security system. Social security system. Here you see that benefits for whom? You will find in this entire list the weaker one, the sufferers. Benefits for handicapped, needy children without fathers. unemployment insurance for jobless youth, retirement pension for workers. Of course, Great Britain, these people from England migrated from Great Britain, they migrated to USA. Okay, you will find that most of the decisions are taken by USA and what do we call that, Great Britain. They are similar. Okay, they clash very little. So what steps were taken by Great Britain even before economic depression? Unemployment insurance, you will find the same, old age pensions, sickness coverage, health care scheme, child care. A basic fundamental question should come to our mind, that who should help people during the difficult situation? Simple answer: governments, state. Almost all democratic governments after all claim themselves as a welfare state. Then what welfare state is? Welfare state is a form of government in which state protects and promotes the economic and social well-being of the citizens. Okay, and depression ended with the beginning of World War II. World War was responsible for this. Economists, you see, it might have helped war industries, generated employment, but we don't find consensus among economists regarding this. Okay, I added a few more things which may be useful for you. Thanks a lot for watching. Thank you very much.